Are there going to be any physical video games? I think probably not. There'll be arcade machines. There'll be some new crazy VR stuff, but actual like cartridges for consoles, CDs. What are we going to evolve to past CDs? What, just something in our eyeballs that we just click and the game comes up? You know, I have no idea.
All right, perfect. So we'll get right to it. Obviously, you're a wrestler. Obviously, you're also a video gamer. Do other kind of superstars share your passion for both of those?
Oh God, yes. Ever since quarantine has happened, I've seen I don't know, like 7 or 8 more of we say the boys and girls have gotten onto Twitch, and so it's weird. So like every couple of days I sit down and have like a conference call with whoever is thinking about getting on Twitch, and I explain how to like do everything, like the equipment that they need. And then they'll call me back like 2 days later once they have everything, and I'll help them set up like Streamlabs and everything and how to get stuff working. So it's been very interesting because for me, I just have always wanted to make sure that the people that I work with that go through all the same stuff that I do, that's the bruises, the bumps, the being away from home, that they have a way to essentially feed themselves like post wrestling. And so right now is a way for people to kind of like test the waters, because I've been dipping a toe in making sure I'm set for like the past 5 years. And so I've kind of got a good idea of where I want to go, you know, post wrestling. And so being able to help a lot of people try to find that avenue, it feels good, and it's nice to see people really take into it, because it's something that I love so much. So to see that they love video games just as much as I do, it's very heartwarming.
Mm-hmm. Are there any kind of skills that you can take out the ring and apply to, again, Twitch streaming or kind of playing games in front of an audience?
Oh, 100%. Because a lot of times people, so I feel like there's a couple different kinds of streamers. Obviously, you have your streamers who are incredible at games, right? Whether you're watching like a Ninja or Dr. Disrespect, like they can talk trash, but they're also like the highest level of good at these games. And then you have your people who are just super good at games and don't talk trash. And then you have your people who are terrible at games and also talk trash. We're in the like, we're okay at games, but our trash talk level is so incredibly high, and it's very different from, I think, other streamers, because we have the ability ingrained in us from wrestling to just automatically cut promos. And so I think that's where our interest lies with the people that are watching us. It makes things a little more fun, I feel. And so I feel like that's the one leg up that wrestling has given us, maybe on people who are in the field already.
So again, you're kind of known for your positivity inside the ring, outside the ring. Does that translate to the type of games that you like to play?
No, so I like everything. Honestly, I was lucky enough to get into the closed beta for Valiant, and I've got like 3 different teams. So we have like maybe like 14 people that we play with, and so that way we can kind of pick from the bunch, see who's awake, see who's on. So yesterday I dumped like 4.5 hours into it, and it felt so good. I'm still trying to burn through like Final Fantasy VII, the remake, because I'm playing it at like 2-hour increments on Twitch as much as I can. The game doesn't have to be super positive. If you know anything about video games, PlayStation 2 back in the day, Manhunt, one of my favorite games ever. Definitely not positive in the least.
No.
I make an attempt to bring that positive energy when I'm playing multiplayer games, but if I'm losing, it's kind of hard to find that sometimes, which I'm sure everyone understands. But I'm more of like an all-around gamer. It's fighting games, JRPGs, rhythm games, puzzle games. It's everything.
Well, I've seen you there's a lot of like kind of card games and virtual card games going up in your channel of late.
Virtual card games?
Well, you were playing Uno the other day, weren't you?
Oh yeah, we play Uno a lot. We play Uno a lot, actually. I was thinking, like, I haven't played Magic or Hearthstone in a minute. No, so we do Uno's on Up Up Down Down, so we film it on Sunday nights and it comes out later in the week. But for whatever reason, it's the most rage-inducing simple game you could ever play. And these different, like with the Uno video game, you've got a bunch of different decks you can download, so they have different special cards, and it shouldn't make you this mad. It shouldn't make you want to stop talking to people altogether as humans, but it does sometimes, and people have found it very entertaining when we play, so we're keeping the train rolling.
So I guess that kind of leads me to, a lot of gamers, you mentioned before, there's different types of kind of streamers and gamers. But a lot of gamers tend to focus on kind of one genre. So they'll be into FPSs, they'll be into platformers, RPGs. You kind of really seem to kind of jump about. So how do you pick kind of the games that you play on your channel?
It's whatever I feel like playing. That's the biggest thing. I used to for so long when I was like just getting into games and like doing YouTube and all that stuff. There was a stint where I was like, okay, I have to play what's popular because that's what people are searching for, and this is in the rotation. And yeah, I still do that to a time, but I definitely spend less time on it than I do spend playing games that I just want to play so bad. And the perfect game, the perfect alignment is a game like Final Fantasy VII, like the remake. It's like, well, I want to play this, but people are also searching for it. So there's our Venn diagram. There's our middle finally comes together. But the majority of the time, it's just what I want to play. So like I've got a Big Buck Hunter. It's an arcade game. And I've wanted this machine for like a decade, and I finally was able to save enough money, and I got it. And so like I streamed that one time. People are like, why are you streaming Big Buck Hunter? It's like, 'cause this is what I want to play right now. And people like I chat with people while we do stuff like this. And so I feel like again, one thing that people are starting to understand now that there's quarantine, and Twitch is one of like the leading things that people are watching right now because it's constant, essentially free content. They're starting to understand that sometimes people are attached to the game, and sometimes people are attached to the streamer. They're attached to that personality, and that's what people are watching for. And so I think, yes, it does matter for gaining new fans and new subs sometimes to be playing what's hot, what's new. But the majority of the time, I feel like people are going to stick around because they want to be attached to you. So if you're not playing the games that you want to play and genuinely enjoying yourself, people are going to see right through that. You're going to be bored. They're going to be bored, and your channel's not going to grow.
So are you the charismatic gamer, or are you the gamer who's really, really good at video games?
I'm in the middle. I'm extremely charismatic, and then I'm so-so at video games. Way better at fighting games than other games, but I'm telling you, in Valorant the other day, I was crushing people. So I can glimpse greatness sometimes, but I'm very far from it.
So how is I was going to ask you kind of what games you're playing now, but you kind of already listed them. So how is Valorant? We got our beta like last week, but we haven't had an attempt to even have a crack at it.
Oh my God, please have many cracks at it. Have many. It's probably the most fun FPS that I've played in a long time. I play on keyboard and mouse now. I switched maybe like when Apex, like 6 or 7 months after Apex came out, I jumped into Apex on PC, and I felt like I was all right, but I just wasn't super comfortable with a keyboard and mouse. Because to be honest, I wasn't great on a controller with FPSs either. Good enough though. And so when I switched, it took me like a week or so, but then I felt more comfortable. And now that we've been playing Valorant for like what seems like 4 or 5 hours, like a day almost, I feel so good with a keyboard and mouse. The abilities in Valorant are really cool. All the characters are different enough. And the fact that it's 5-on-5, like this is the first time that I've actually stuck with like essentially the same people playing the game together. So like our teamwork and our call outs are getting very good, and it's making me enjoy the game so much more because I'm actually taking the deep dive to learn how to be good at it. I'm not there yet, but I'm on the right path to growing there. And so that's been really fun. So I highly recommend it. If those of you listening, if you have access to the closed beta, it's really fun.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to take kind of Overwatch's crown in that regard?
I don't know. I feel like people are trying to say that they're very similar. They are similar in the fact that like they're a shooting game, there's abilities, but I think Overwatch is super different from Valorant, especially with Valorant having just that 5-on-5 and the drop in the spike aspect of the game. Whatever people say that the games are a clone of something else, and it's like all games are, because Valorant's not the first-person shooter. Overwatch isn't. CS:GO isn't. Doom isn't the first. Like, all games stem from a type of game, and then you skin it up, you give it abilities, you change it up enough to something that you enjoy. And I feel like the games are similar enough where they'll keep their diehard fan bases. But I think when Valorant drops for real, there's going to be a lot of people who jump into it and enjoy it. I feel like for me, it's much more difficult to play if I don't have my full like team of 5 with me, or even like a team of 4.
Yeah.
It hasn't been as fun for me in that situation. Whereas where I can play Overwatch by myself and feel fine, but Valorant with all my buddies is, God, it's like untouchable for me right now. I can't stop playing it.
Well, so kind of you a lot of the games kind of I've seen on your channel, there's a lot of emphasis on collaborative gameplay. Even when you're doing the tabletop stuff, or again you're playing Uno or kind of first person shooters. Why is that? Because traditionally a lot of your Twitch diehards, your ninjas of the world, they generally are specialized in sitting in front of a computer and just playing by themselves.
I think for me, one of the basis of my channel, one of the messages that we like low key try to get across is the fact that video games are fun. All games are fun with friends. And so I grew up in a world where I saw in the media a lot. They were always like villainizing video games. Oh, they're terrible. They're going to melt your brain. They're not going to amount to anything. You're going to be a burnout. And so I always hated that because I had a 4.0 throughout school. I did everything that I needed to do, but I also spent a lot of time playing video games. And a lot of that was playing video games with my friend. Even if we were playing like a one-player game, we'd all sit and watch and comment and talk, and that was fun. And so I want to make sure that the parents that also grew up in that generation that have kids now understand that that directive that we got when we were kids is completely incorrect. And I feel like that was shown the best during we went to the Rocket League World Championships, right? And so a lot of those people that are playing Rocket League at that level are like 16 years old. They're very young. And so we went, and I was talking to one of the kids, and he had graduation the next day. So he was there playing that day. He would fly back to go do his graduation, then fly back there on Sunday if the alternate was able to keep the team afloat with them and get them to the finals on Sunday. And so I asked to interview his mom, and she said, I always was nervous about him constantly spending so much time in his room playing video games because I thought that he didn't have any friends. I thought he had no social life, but like he did well in school, so I just kind of left it alone. But the first time that I came to a Rocket League tournament with him, I didn't realize he's famous. Like we walked into the building and he was flooded with all of these people wanting to get his autograph, wanting to talk to him, wanting to take a picture with him. And I had no idea. And then I saw him interacting with his friends that he plays with on his team. And these are his best friends. This is his audience. This is his crowd. These are his people. I had no clue this world existed. I thought that my kid was just asocial and didn't have anybody to talk to that was on his level, that was on his age. And she goes, I didn't realize he had a whole world of people that loved him, that he also loved. And so this is the best thing that could have ever happened to him is these video games. And so I really just enjoy people coming to understand that video games can be enjoyed alone, but they're so much more fun when you have other people who also enjoy them, that you're on the same wavelength as, and you just are able to have that connection with them.
So I saw on kind of like your setup tour on your YouTube channel that you have a large collection of physical games and also again the arcade machines that you mentioned. So because everything's gone digital, and a lot of people are kind of getting rid of that, why have you kind of doubled down and really invested in the physicality of kind of video games?
Because it's history. This stuff is going to be gone. This is going to be gone. By the time my kids are like 15, 16, yeah, they'll still be some physical copies of stuff. By the time, they're 25, 30, by the time they're having kids, are there going to be any physical video games? I think probably not. There'll be arcade machines. There'll be some new crazy VR stuff, but actual like cartridges for consoles, CDs. What are we going to evolve to past CDs? What, just something in our eyeballs that we just click and the game comes up? I have no idea. So I want to make sure, not only for my nostalgic purposes, but for the educational value for my kids, and then for hopefully my grandkids, I'll be able to say like, this is how we used to play games back in the day. Because I can go back, and I've shown kids that I used to work at a daycare, and the kids would all want to play like the next gen systems, and I would bring in my regular Nintendo, and they go, what is this old thing? Like, this looks weird. We don't want to play it. And then once they start playing any of the games, they go, oh, wow, this is really fun, because the gameplay was through the roof. It didn't look incredible, but it played incredible. So I want them to have the opportunity to physically play these games. Emulators are great, but having these collections from my own personal source makes me feel good. But then being able to teach them what it was like back in the day is going to make me feel even better.
Yeah, plus they'll never know what blowing into a cartridge actually means or did.
No. I'm gonna have to explain everything, and and I know it sounds so ridiculous. Most people are like, I'm gonna teach my kids how to like balance a checkbook and how to cook breakfast, and I'll do that too. But I want to make sure they know this stuff because this is where games come from, like that manual hustle of like I've stopped ordering games that I want. I'll only find retro games and retro stuff in the wild now if I happen upon it because it just feels great. And so then being able to come home, like I got a Sega Pico, which if you don't know what that is, it's an old Sega system that they made where they made books where when you turn the pages, it like read it to you and you can press on the pages with a special pen to like answer the questions. It's a little gaming system for kids. And I got that like a year and a half ago. And like eventually my kid will understand how to use this and he'll be like, oh, I got a Sega Pico. And his friends will be like, what is a Sega Pico? Like, come over and check it out. And then they can all experience this physical game system. So that's, I don't know, that's what I'm into. Just having some knowledge and trying to keep a hold of it for the next generation.
Okay. So, kind of, getting towards the end of these questions, but, especially in the last few months, as you said, eSports and kind of video games have really matured, for a whole new audience. Now, do you think there's anything that kind of professional gaming leagues can learn from sports entertainment, people like the WWE?
Oh, 100%. I think the thing that we have that no one else on the planet has is that we all have this ability to just cut promos on a whim about whatever. And so I think that if people in the world of esports were able to gain that ability as well, aka coming and training with us so we can teach how to do it, and then they can teach some of our guys and girls how to be very good at some of these games that they play. But I think that's going to bring more people to the esports realm, because if I don't understand a video game and I'm trying to watch it and my kid or my friend, my brother, whatever, is trying to show me Street Fighter on ESPN, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't even like video games. But if it's on and I'm passing the TV and I see these two guys arguing, cutting promos on each other, and I'm like, wait, what are they arguing about? And then someone goes, oh my God, Street Fighter, they're about to get into it. And I'm like, I don't understand this, but I'm interested. Because now we've got that type of confrontation. You have to have that confrontation to create that desire to watch if you don't already know what's going on. And so I feel like if they were able to add that to the mix, then it would reach even greater heights than it already has.
So again, a lot of people know you from your work in the WWE. How do people get involved with you from a gaming standpoint?
So follow me on Twitter at Xavier Woods PhD, and you can watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Austin Creed. That's where all the gaming stuff is. And we also talk about gaming stuff on the New Day podcast, which airs every single Monday, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the New Day, feel the power, click the pink picture with the 3 black guys' faces on it, and subscribe. Even if you don't listen to it, please still subscribe, because that means an automatic download for us, which means a little bit more money in my pockets, and you don't have to do anything for it. Thank you.
There's that promo. There's the promo skill right there. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for kind of talking to me.
Of course.
And, stay safe, stay home. Not going to be a problem considering your arcade collection, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. We have no issues there.
All right, perfect. Cheers. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you.